That was such a palaver. Okay. We're actually in now. Wowee. That was very very long-winded. We're in. Finally. We are in. So let's just double check, make sure everything's running good. Let's make sure.
So the darkest place.
1 second. Yes. Here we go. Beautiful. Right, apologies to everyone that was coming across from TikTok there. We had some serious delays on setting up the stream. I don't know why we had delays. Just being weird, like the technical issues are unreal. But we're here now. We are here now. Okay, let's get it. So, carrying on from the TikTok live, you can see that we've got a pretty good expansive move to the upside, coming in from the gold market, which is good. I mean, we're kind of expecting this because generally when there's escalation in tensions, it goes hand in hand with this, right? A lot of the time. Everyone rushes to gold because it's a safe haven in terms of where can you put your cash and it's not necessarily going to run away. Like when it comes to gold, it's an asset that is going to appreciate over time. It's kind of like buying jewelry, you know. It's not just going to become worthless overnight. Whereas all the paper-based currencies, they can become worthless overnight. In terms of business, this is safer. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over to Euro because it has just hit the second target that we called earlier on today. Now, why is it that we're seeing price push up to these highs? Well, fundamentally, it's because we have obviously the news events and we're seeing a strengthening of the US, sorry, not the US, a strengthening of the Euro against a weakening of the US dollar. Now, the Euro itself is starting to be looked at as more of a safe haven, if you were. The reason I say this is because the US is starting, well, not starting, but they're involved now with a conflict, which makes them a lot more volatile. And businessmen don't like volatility, they like stability. So in terms of stability, the euro is a lot more stable for now. So it's being preferred by some of the institutes and so on. But because we've hit both of these points now, this high and this high, I believe that we could see a potential pullback to some areas. Now, it doesn't mean that we're going to short this. That's not what it means. The reason I say that is because we know if our bias is long. What's going on, Thrivey? How you doing? I'm doing good, thanks, man. Hope you're well. So, because we have a bias of bullish, we want to see the bullishness play out. Now, we've seen bullishness, beautiful. But what we're not going to do is counter that. The only times that we could potentially look for counters is if we interact with daily points on the market. Now, where we are at the moment, we have this high and this high as our daily points. But we should look at these more for targets than areas to take shorts from. The reason I say that is because, once again, if our bias is bullish, the last thing we want to do is sell against our bias. Now, remember, institutional involvement is happening every single day, but it's about pointing out the hotspots within the market that we can begin to then expect a involvement once again. One of the main things is always look at what the market's telling you. If it's telling you that, hey, I'm traveling up, I've been bullish, the probability tells you it's going to likely continue. Now, the reason I say that is because most people spend their time trying to catch the tops, trying to sell from here or sell from where it is now or sell from the highest possible points, when in reality, we should look to just follow the trend that's already established, but from lower areas. So we do have a financial juice announcement that is just in. A senior Iranian political source says Iran is likely to attack US military facilities in the coming hours. So please do brace yourselves for that. Make sure that you have your theoretical safety belts on and you have your stop losses in place. You don't want to be getting caught out by any of that kind of news. So remember, guys, if you haven't already, join the Discord. The link is in the bio. All of the good stuff is in the Discord if you want to find it. People like Thriving, who is in the chat right now, has learnt the system and tested it to a point where you can see how proficient it is without paying me a single penny. Hasn't had to pay for anything because we offer 90% of our content for free. Of course, if you want to have accelerated learning, you want to be a part of the VIP, you want to do this, you want to do that, there's options there. But we've always said, and we always will say, you can learn the whole system by just putting in some work. People always say, especially on TikTok, they join and they go, well, what's in it for you then? If you're not gonna charge money for it, what's in it for you? Well, I actually have other businesses. I don't just trade all of the time. Obviously, I trade all of the time. That's incorrect. But what I'm saying is I have other businesses that I ultimately monetize as well. So I don't need to tell people to pay me for a mentorship. It's not how it works. So take advantage of that, because I guarantee most other people are telling you need to buy their course or pay 400 quid a month to join their Discord. Okay, this here. Are you okay? I'm good, thanks, Bicky. How are you? I think I just called you Bicky. I'm good, thanks, Vicky. Are you well? Hope you are. Hi. What's happening? Why do I feel like this is a bot? Vicky, I feel like you're a bot. Hey, what I am going to do right now Thriving, you're in the chat right now. I'm going to give you moderator's role. Crazy moves on AU today? Yeah, I know. I seen that. Back in a second. Be back in the charts. Hold on. Just coming over to the live stream. Here we go. What's going on, Tickle? Welcome, my man. How you doing? Hope you're good. Alright, so Thriving, I have given you moderator roles. Now, what I am going to do in a second is we're going to change this to subscriber only chat. I'm good, thanks, brother. How are you? I hope you're well. How do I do it? Here. There we go. There we go. Subscriber only. Why is the screen slim? Well, the reason the screen is slim is because I am in mobile format. Now, the reason for that is because if you go onto horizontal and you stream in horizontal, you get about 300% less exposure. So we're on vertical. We're on vertical because I do an hour here in mobile format and I'll get like 300 views. If I do an hour in horizontal, I get about 20 views. So it's actually more than 300%, but got it. Yeah, so if you're on the phone, best way to view. Let's see, we've got a beautiful sell-off here. That's great. We want to see that come down into these lows and go long. AU, beautiful moves. Again, look at this. This is what I was saying before. When we're looking at this chart, we have a bearish bias. Where do we want to sell it from? Well, we want to sell it from these highs. So price pushing up like this is actually good for us. It's against our bias, but it's good because it tells us we have potential to be invited into this market. Now, I believe that the AU bias could actually shift into a bullish bias. But just because I believe it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. Until it does happen, we simply follow what the rules tell us. We simply follow what the rules tell us. Now, we have had, let's see here, we've had a bearish bias on this pair since we were over here. So since the 28th of May, we've been bearish. And many people have been like, why are you bearish? Well, yes, we had a lot of bullish moves, but since then, we've consistently seen highs taken out, sell, highs taken out, sell, highs taken out, sell, highs taken out, sell. We've consistently seen the same thing happen over and over and over, which is why we use the system we use, because it gives us true statistical data, and it backs... What is this? Restore panel, move panel down. What panel? Oh, that panel. Yeah, get rid of that. There we go. It's not doing it now. Much cleaner, right? There we go. So we have been streaming a lot on TikTok as well. If you haven't already followed me on TikTok, it's Ross-rfx PSS is the name. We're around 2,800 followers on there. If you want to follow us on there, then you can. The only thing with TikTok is they are kind of weird and they use like an automatic word recognition system. So if I start saying institute, buy, sell, money in, money out, fundamentals, all of these words combined, it flags it and then reports us. And we're pretty much on a last warning there. Now, the other thing is as well, you get banned, not banned, but you get like, you get flagged, right? And you say, I don't understand why I've been flagged. So you say, oh, I'm going to open a ticket, try and talk to someone. They just go, nah, you can't talk to anyone, mate. They literally just say, nah, sorry, mate, can't talk to anyone. So we're essentially at a point now where on TikTok we literally just have to say the bare minimum. It's the principle of what we do. So let's go back to gold here because I was explaining earlier how there's a huge pool here of liquid that we want to see gold hit. I think it's going to be a beautiful move. Was we selling off on EJ? Not yet. We're looking for longs from this low, but we haven't got down there yet. It's not a high volume low, but it is still a low. What's going on, Andre? Welcome, brother. Hope you're all good. Euro GBP. We're bullish on this as well. We have taken out a low here. Check out the 15. Volume is in place. We may see an entry given here, potentially. So remember, the main element is always this. Only trade what you are confident in. So what you've tested and you have evidence to back up. Also, it has to align with your probability basis. So what I've said before, and what I'll say again, is let's say we trade EG, right? We trade EG. And you say, okay, cool, I see X amount of a return from EG. So you do that through backtesting. What a lot of people forget is, just because EG gives you, let's say it gives you, let's say wins 5 in a row, right? And then losses 5 in a row, yeah? So people look at this and they say, cool, well, I want more than 5 wins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find other pairs to trade. And then they trade X, 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 right? But what you forget is you've pretty much got to multiply what this is giving you into this. Yeah, so if it's giving you 10 wins, it may give you, what is that collectively, another 25 wins in a row, right? But then it could also give you 25 losses in a row. Now, many of you will realize this when you start to do it, when you have like 10 pairs that you're trading. But the reason we have to do backtesting and collect the data is to alleviate that thing happening, which is overexposing yourself to a system that has long-term return, but you still need to factor in the principle of this. If an account curve with a system looks like this, okay, you need to factor in for this section and this section. Okay? On a singular pair, this may equate to, let's say, I don't know, 3% drawdown. Yeah, and this may equate to like 1.5% drawdown. Yeah, but if you're using a system that is offering that, it also means if you add in more pairs, it's going to be the same chart, if you were, but the figures are going to be larger. So yes, the return will be bigger, but so will the periods of drawdown. The drawdown will be larger. It's always the way. Okay? Always remember that. So 9 minutes left on this. If we leave this gap here, then there is potential for a long move out of here. Okay? Running the highs. Now, the vertical format on YouTube obviously isn't the best. I know that there's a lot of you long-term viewers that look at, you watch the horizontal streams and you're on PC, but unfortunately, YouTube do an amazing job of not putting those streams out to anyone. So I spend hours and hours and hours showcasing things that no one ever sees. Now, yes, you guys have seen it, and that's awesome, but there's a lot of people that will never see it because of the way that they do things. Let me. There we go. Right, so guys, if you haven't already, hit that like button. I appreciate it. So we've got 10 likes right now. That's a great start. 10 likes. Okay, so we're only going to be live here for maybe 30 minutes or so. We did plan on doing an hour here and an hour on TikTok, but we got caught up with things. So how was everyone's weekend? Did everyone have a good weekend? I hope you did. Let's just set an alert here. You know what? Let's just forget that and do this instead. So what we're going to do is here, going to add an alert on this. Create on, yeah, sweet. Now we'll know if it pops up. We shall know if it pops up. So remember what we're looking at here. Couldn't wait to trade again. Nice, brother. That's good. That's good, that's good. Remember, the crypto markets are always open, so you can always, you know, practice on the crypto markets or trade in the crypto markets. That's what I do with my my crypto investments. I don't know, my brain's just not working very well today. I use it on a higher time frame. So, for example, I do this. So let's say I'm bullish on an asset. So I'll show you Bitcoin, for example. Let's go Bitcoin. Right. So I'll go Bitcoin, for example. And I'll use the areas that are created at points that are good to follow it bullish. So for example, here, I accumulated a position here. Yes, it didn't go into profit immediately, but then there was another position offered here. So I doubled down on my initial position and I caught the base of that last push to the downside. Same here. It gave another entry, so I put another order on there. Then when it gives you a bearish money out, for example, I'll use that as an opportunity to take some partials and then use the partials to reinvest. And that's delivered to my portfolio around 300% last year. So it's decent. It's better than just guessing where's a good point to buy Bitcoin or whatever. You know, it just adds a bit more systematic understanding to it. I mean, you do get periods like this where you go bullish, it goes up for a little bit, then you take a little bit of profit, but obviously it's not much because you're down here. Same thing, you buy it, doesn't go into profit, you buy it, doesn't go into profit, you buy it, and then it does go into profit. But that's why it's important to take that little bit of liquid out, because it allows you to reaccumulate when price does eventually give that bullish signal again. You know we're in a good place, we've dropped off. Everyone's pooping their pants thinking that we're going to drop off the earth. How was the bike ride? Yeah, not too bad, thanks, brother. Not too bad at all. Well, I had my brother with me this time and my dad. My brother literally, like, we had to pretty much teach him how to change gears and how to use the bike before we left. He only made it halfway. Yeah, he only made it halfway. He fell off a lot of times. And yeah, he got quite injured, to be honest with you. He got quite injured. The other thing as well was I injured myself like halfway through. I didn't fall off, but I injured myself halfway through. I'd done something to my leg, and I spent the rest of the ride fighting through that pain, and it actually turned into a rather unpleasant experience, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. It was actually quite unpleasant. Now, that is not something, you know, it's not always going to be that way. But this time it was, and it's one of those things, you know, I am older, I weigh more than I did before. Why did you go overnight though? So we went overnight because it's a London to Brighton off-road at night. Like, that's the event. That's the event. So there was about 50 riders, but we spoke to the We spoke to the owners and the managers of the event, and they said it's probably going to be the last one they do, unfortunately, because there are not enough people do it. And to be honest, I can see why, because if you're not like either if you're not prepared or relatively fit, it is like torture. It is hardcore ride, that is. Like my brother actually felt quite sorry for him, to be honest, because he was absolutely battered. He was really battered. He was not in a good way. Like, he was just sitting at the second checkpoint, just like absolutely battered, like cuts all over him. He was covered in mud. He was absolutely battered. But I told him, just so you know, you're never going to live this down. I'm not ever going to let you forget this. So do not ever think I'm going to let you live this down. Right, I've just got a phone call, guys. I'll be back in 2. Yes. What's happening, crew? We're back. Apologies for that, guys. There's something I've realised. Well, not something I've just realised, but something I've realised since I work for myself is when loved ones call, you should answer. Whatever you're doing, you should always answer. Okay, so there's an entry now. It's been given here on Euro GBP. I have chronic hay fever today, so I do apologise. Like, my face is just permanently itchy. So it's beautiful. Okay, let's see here. So, what do we want to see here? We got much going on. British pound, USD. I am bearish on this. I do think we're going to see some bearishness coming in from the highs. At the moment, nothing too crazy. Yeah, I know, man. It will be interesting in volatile days. Yeah, that's the thing with war. As soon as war starts kicking around, it becomes like a different kind of, a different kind of environment, which isn't necessarily a good thing. Yeah, it gives volatile moves, but it's not what, we don't necessarily want that, if you were. So, as I said before, guys, this is only a short stream because we did get delayed. I'm only going to be on for a few more minutes, but obviously the idea was get on, show my face, talk to you guys, and, see what's what, how you're all doing and that. And, yeah, that's the main thing, really. So, what I'm looking for moving forwards is I'm looking for Euro to continue going bullish. If it pulls back into the lows, awesome. GU, I think we're going to see a correlation between the Euro pullback and the entry given for a sell. Okay. I think also with Euro, Japanese yen, we're going to come down into these lows. Then we're going to look to long it out of there. So we look to go out of here. Okay. Gold, I don't think it's going to give an entry, but I believe we're going to come up into these highs and take out these highs. Beautiful cluster there. I think we're going to see, a run of those liquid highs. That'll be ideal. Nasdaq, I'm bullish here, but we don't really have any lows, so we're just going to wait and see what happens with that. Apart from that, we're just sort of waiting for everything to align. We're bearish on you, Chef. You can see here that we actually took out the high yesterday evening. And there was, during Asia, an entry that was given. Didn't tag in though. But that's fine because we're not trading Asia anyway. And then AU, I expect us to go bearish on this. Whether we actually see an entry or not is a different story. But again, we're not here for the confirmed entries. We're here for the long-term probability when it comes to entries. So I think our internet's jumping about a little bit. But that's the overview that I'm looking at for these pairs, guys. So hopefully you have your own views as well. And the main thing is follow something that you have confidence in. And the reason you have confidence in is because you have backtesting data on it. Not because it worked for one day, a week, or a month, but because it has confluence over a long period of time. Just like the Orion trading system. If you backtest that, you will see the results. I don't encourage you just to jump in and do, something that's kind of, it kind of works. And I've seen it happen a couple of times. Go and backtest. Go and collect your data so you can confidently say, I am going to do X actions in the market because I know the outcome is this. Yeah, it's always about the same thing. What's the market telling us? If it's telling us one thing, is our rule set confirming that? Yes? Well, then we can trade it. Awesome. So, guys, I appreciate every single one of you. If you haven't already hit that like button, I would massively appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you all in the next one. Sorry it's been a short one, guys, but we will be back tomorrow for a longer live stream. And we will be doing an hour here and an hour on TikTok. And then we're going to be going into the Discord. So, all love, guys. Thank you very, very much for every single one of you that has joined. Andre, Tickle, Thriving, Vicky the bot, appreciate every single one of you, and I'll see you all in the next one. Remember, guys, the Discord is there. Share your ideas, share your thoughts, help each other and grow as a collective. Peace and love, guys. See you tomorrow.